Hi there, I'm Vladimir Dutit, and this is The Uplift. We have a great show for you today and a great cast of characters. An Olympian who hasn't let her online fame change her. In fact, it's being her authentic self that's getting so much praise. Another Olympian went from a baby doing handstands in his crib to a young man competing in Paris and helping his team reach a milestone. An anonymous graffiti artist has become a local Banksy in his town. What does he do with his mysterious art? We'll tell you. And David Begno introduces us to a woman who helped shape him into the person he is today, how he's honoring his former teacher and longtime mentor. That's coming up. All that and much more good news. You're watching The Uplift. Welcome to The Uplift. That's the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes. At least we try. We're going to begin with someone you might recognize if you've been watching the Olympics. Frederick Richard helped Team USA get its first Olympic medal in men's gymnastics since 2008. Before he was a superstar on the mat, though, he was doing handstands in his crib. Here's Jamie Yuccas with his story.
Between the twists and the turns at the gym, it's hard to keep up with Frederick Richard.
These are called giants, going around the bar.
When we finally get him to sit still, there are conditions.
I first want to address, this is the first time I've ever done an interview in my socks.
Yep. People aren't used to taking off the shoes in the gym, but that's what we do.
Richard spends 10 hours a day in this gymnastics training center.
People walk in here and they say it's like a playground. I mean, you got pits, you got mats everywhere, just bouncy things to jump off of. So it is like my own playground all day long.
You can say Richard has been playing around since before he could walk. Just ask his parents, Anne-Marie and Carl.
He was a very active child. He was always upside down. In his crib, he was literally just on his two hands doing a handstand.
By age 2, Richard would follow his sister into gymnastics class in Massachusetts.
They tried to put me in gymnastics, and I wouldn't listen. Basically kicked me out and said, come back when he's older and can listen, follow the rules.
When did you get back in?
I got back at 4 years old, and that's when I really started the journey. Never stopped since.
At age 8, he was competing and training so hard, he asked his parents to skip family vacations.
I mean, this is at 8 years old, right? He's at school and everything, and he was going to the gym minimum 3 hours a day and loving it, didn't want to get out of it. We actually encouraged him to try other sports.
But he stuck with gymnastics, and it's paid off. He finished first and all-around at the U.S. Olympic trials in June, just weeks after his second place finish at the U.S. Championships. At 20 years old, he's the youngest man to compete in the sport at the Olympics since 1972.
I feel like it's a personal mission for you to get more people interested in men's gymnastics.
100% is. I mean, I grew up in a gym where if you're lucky, 10% of the people in the room are male gymnasts and the rest are women. I grew up not even wanting to tell people that I do gymnastics.
Really?
That's why I want to get as many black kids in the sport as possible, because that was also another thing struggle with me when I was growing up.
That's where social media has really helped him put the spotlight on the sport. With his more than 1 million Instagram and TikTok followers watching Frederick Flips.
Playing copy with Simone Biles.
In one post, he and Simone Biles challenge one another to show the differences between men's and women's gymnastics.
You jump, you can get to support. You go to here.
Oh my gosh, now you're showing off.
Since we were in the gym, he showed me some routines.
I appreciate that you think I'm even going to be able to do this.
And thought I should try them.
We'll call it something. That's some type of skill.
That's how you came up with your name, Frederick Flips?
Yeah, Flips. My name's Frederick.
We also made a TikTok video poking fun at reporters asking questions.
Why do you like the circles?
It's what I have to do to win, you know?
Do you like social media just as much as gymnastics at this point?
I do, because in gymnastics, you have a specific code book. You have to follow the rules. In social media, there are no rules. I can do my gymnastics however I want and get millions of views.
In the beginning, his parents were concerned about social media.
The only thing that worried me was, by doing that, how much time are you taking from gymnastics? And he told me he's helping to grow the sport.
His parents are really his biggest fans.
We try to go to almost every meet. Just to be there for him, just him knowing that we're there in the stands supporting him, I think helps.
When we showed Richard an older video of a competition from when he was a kid,
My arm and leg proportions when I was younger are so weird.
You see, the journey hasn't been lost on him.
What would you say to that little boy?
I would definitely say great job. I mean, I just know at that time I was having a lot of fun and just doing what I love, and so I wouldn't want to change a thing, and I'd just say you're doing amazing.
Keep going.
Keep going for sure, yeah.
I'm Jamie Yuccas in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
We'll have more Olympics coverage in a bit as Jamie interviews a trailblazing rugby player making a name for herself in Paris and online. A local artist in Texas has become somewhat of a hometown Banksy. He leaves graffiti art around the town without signing his name, but the mysterious artist is doing it for a reason, to celebrate others. Here's Madison Sawyer.
Every vehicle that passes draws eyes to a new work of art by an artist that never signs his name.
It is somewhat of a mystery, I guess you want to say. I might hear like in the middle of the night spraying, like if I'm undercover.
Today, his artwork is celebrating a boy named Arthur who loves TCU, baseball, and is turning 7.
I've always told him I need the name, colors, theme, and usually the age.
The artist's name, Ruben Orozco.
I don't even know what they look like, but I know each person has a gift, right?
Orozco's gift, not just his art, but his faith.
And so if I'm able to pray for these names as I'm spray painting them, and that the kids will rise up and become what God has created them to be, and that's where it became ministry.
Each spray of the can,
But if it wasn't for Alito, I kid you not, I wouldn't be doing this.
a reminder to him that life is precious.
I never used to celebrate life. Like with my story, I think that's where like the brokenness came. Is God like broke me? Because I lived life for granted for years. But now it's like birthday signs, you're celebrating life.
The art form he uses now to celebrate, he learned because of a troubled past, including gang violence and drugs.
Like let's say we're all sheep, right? And you living amongst wolves. Well, you get eaten up, if that makes sense. And with me, it feels like I had to become a wolf in order to, and like literally adapt to my environment.
Now he answers to a higher calling.
So now as I'm in church, hearing that Jesus was the name above all, I sat there and I started sketching out Jesus, like pencil and paper, just sketching. It stirred up something like, can I glorify God with graffiti? Will it honor him?
Paint, always part of his life.
You can't spell paint without that word pain. And one day, it's like it was a cross at the end of it. It was like confirmation that, man, just keep doing what you've been doing.
A life where each day is now a cause for celebration.
So it takes one coat after another to get it the way you want it.
Coming up, you may have seen this face a lot in the past few weeks. We'll hear U.S. women's rugby player Ilona Maher, who's not only an Olympic medalist, but a role model using her platform for good. Ilona Maher helped the U.S. women's rugby team earn a bronze at the Paris Olympics, but during the games, she also became known for another accomplishment, spreading body positivity and being her authentic self. Here's Jamie Yuccas again with her story.
At the Team USA rugby training facility in Chula Vista, California, it's not hard to spot the 5'10", 200 pounds of muscle that is Ilona Maher.
I love tackling. I love getting out there, just seeing exactly what I can do and how fast I can run, how hard I can hit.
Growing up in Vermont, Maher was always an athlete, but she didn't get into rugby until her senior year of high school.
Powerful bend.
It was love at first tackle.
It just kind of felt like it just fit my body. the way that I was able to be physical and to be praised for being physical and to be praised for my size out there. And I think I kind of made the late decision, like, hey, this is interesting. Like, let me try to keep playing this, and played in college and then have kind of kept going.
All the way to the Women's World Cup and eventually making it onto the Tokyo 2020 Olympic team, where she became just as famous off the field.
I played for the USA and I'm here at the Olympics.
For her behind-the-scenes content on TikTok.
Now, ramen. Deep fried camembert. I'm so excited.
Now with more than 1 million followers, she brings them along on her daily life and uses internet trolls as motivation. Part of Mar's TikTok success has been her bold embrace of her feminine side.
Smash. I think there has always been a divide. People believing that, oh, when you play sports, if you're an athlete, you can't be feminine. I feel that I can be a beast and can play this very physical, aggressive sport while also keeping my femininity while I do it.
Did you always feel that way about yourself?
People would always call me masculine. I'm like, I didn't understand that, but now I'm like, oh, there's a purpose here for it. I can stiff arm and I can fend and I can get up and tackle as hard as I can. And that's why I want other women to even just get in the gym and lift weights. Like, see what your body can do, you know, get to a point where you can do a pull-up. Oh man, I'm so powerful, I can do this. I just think it gave me a new perspective on my body. It's easy.
Before I knew it, it was time to see if I could do it.
And I'll just push you up, okay? So yep, start lifting. Okay. There you go. And Easy.
Yeah, but I have you to actually lift me.
That's how you start, though. You start by doing that.
Try and stay with the 2-minute clock.
But for now, her sights are set on Paris and winning a medal. She shows me how that's done, while I remind her I'm an old lady.
The art of the rugby tackle, what we say is, our saying in rugby is cheek to cheek.
Okay.
So when I'm going to tackle...
Are we talking butt cheeks or face cheeks?
Face cheeks and butt cheeks.
Oh,
actually.
really?
It's two of them.
Okay. Should we try one?
I can do a little one on you.
A little? Don't hurt me.
I won't hurt you.
I'm old.
I'm not going to hit you hard, but like, you know, try to go around like this. I won't hit you hard.
Okay.
Okay, right, I'm just going to come here.
That wasn't hard at all. What is it like for you to know that young women are watching you and you could be the reason it becomes more popular?
I guess makes me nervous in some ways because people always like, you're such a role model and we love you so much, and I'm like, well, I just don't want you to think of me as the perfect person because I make mistakes and I might not always say the right things, but I know that these girls' lives are being changed by it as well because they heard about rugby on a girl from TikTok, so they decided to try out this club program, and then they met their best friends there, and now they're, you know, playing around, having the best memories. So I'm honored, and I just hope to keep exposing America to rugby.
I'm Jamie Yuccas
USA!
in Chula Vista, California.
Many people have one teacher who especially helped shape their life. Our David Begno has a role model that made a huge impact on him in high school, and he wanted to show her what he's done with the tools she gave him. That's next. Do you have a teacher who made a special impact on your life? Don't we all? Our own David Begno also has one, his high school English teacher and speech coach, who went on to become a mentor and helped him fulfill his dreams. Now that she's retiring, David wanted to show her just how much she means to him and others.
Whew, what can I say about Josette Cookat Sarat? She is one of the women I credit with changing my life. She was my freshman English teacher and speech coach who became my mentor and dear friend. I first introduced you to Miss Sarat last fall when I visited her in my hometown of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh, look at this.
When we first met in 1998, she was teaching English here at Turlings Catholic High School, and I was a 15-year-old freshman. I was gay at a time when it wasn't readily accepted, and I had Tourette's syndrome at a time when it wasn't easily understood. It was a lot of baggage for this young kid, but Miss Sarat had a way of seeing beyond the surface, into my soul, really. She is a large part of the reason I am a broadcaster and a storyteller. In 2022, Miss Sarat was inducted into the National Speech and Debate Hall of Fame. And now, after more than 50 years in education, Miss Sarat is retiring.
50 years in teaching. How are you feeling as it comes to a close?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is gratitude.
I always wanted to be a teacher since I was probably 6 years old. I look at it as a ministry, but I always thought it was such a fulfilling and honorable thing to do.
You taught a class called interpersonal communication, which really changed my life, right? I took it in high school. Kids were constantly competing to get into the class. And I realized in the process of going through that class that you were such a good interpersonal teacher because of what you went through in your personal life, right?
Right.
Married to an alcoholic, you were a single mom, you worked 3 jobs. Was pain your greatest teacher?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Initially, I fought it. I think I fought the fact that life was hard for me. That was not how I was raised. It was not how I was brought up. And I made a choice to marry this person. And from that, I learned how to survive. And I did live in a survival mode for many years. But so many people along the way helped my girls and helped me. And I just knew that that was God's plan for me.
Ms. Sarat, I think you possess so much empathy because of your own life experience. And that's what endeared you to so many students, I think, at least to me, for sure.
Well, I always believed that you should be transparent with students because students know you better than anybody. You cannot fool a student. You were one of them. You assessed people right away. And you would even tell me sometimes I was being naive. And I would think, who is this boy? This 18-year-old who's wiser than me? But the pain and the suffering definitely allowed me to share some of the experiences from that class.
Do you understand the trickle-down effect that you've had?
How so?
Some of your students are psychologists because they took interpersonal. Some of your students are speech coaches because they took your speech class. Some of your students are teachers because they learned from you. Do you see the beauty of that?
And that's a fulfillment. That's a gift. I know I speak for so many teachers. Those are the things that we live for. And to be here today and to have this opportunity is such a dream for a teacher, to be able to come on board and talk this way in front of a national audience.
Well, it's a dream for me to celebrate you in this way, but I'm not going to do it alone. Watch this.
Miss Sarat changed the trajectory of my life. She gave me a process of approaching things, of approaching challenges in my life to achieve my goals. Absolutely 100% everything that I'm doing in my life is because of her.
She saw something more in me than I saw in myself, and she challenged me and inspired me to do more and get out of my shell and participate and really work harder on communication.
Sure, she was a great speech and debate coach, but she really had a lot of empathy for kids. And she was the one that would go and find a kid that really maybe wasn't the most talented, and yet make them feel like they had a place.
She looks at each and every one of them and she sees great things for them and she challenges them down that path. And that's what makes her extraordinary. And she loves them along the way.
Yes, she taught me. She mentored me. She coached me. And all of that was great. But the thing that has impacted my life the most is that she loved me.
I could weep listening to that young woman say that, because what you did at a time when I needed it the most was love me when it wasn't something you had to do. And so I co-sign everything they just said. How does it feel to hear all that?
It feels very, very fulfilling. I feel like my time on earth has been well spent. I did love you and saw so much potential in you and was determined for you to see that potential before you graduated. So to watch you live out your dream has been such a gift to me, and to watch them live out their dream, I'm just so proud of everyone I taught.
Well, guess what? I got a gift for you. Miss Sarat, two people in our hometown of Lafayette, Louisiana, who love you as much as I do. You coached their son, you've known them for years, are going to donate $25,000 in your name to the National Speech and Debate Association.
Oh my goodness.
So that kids who qualify for nationals but can't afford to go can now go in your name.
Oh my goodness.
Rodney and Cindy Savoy.
No.
Just for you. Because of how much you've loved their son and me and everybody else.
Yes, their son is very special to me in many ways.
Very special.
In so many ways.
Look, let me say this in conclusion. I never thought I'd be able to do this in Times Square, but it's such a joy for me to bring you here to show you in person how far you helped me to go.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. It was a great ride. Still a great ride.
That's our show. I hope this news helped to brighten your day and lifted you up. We'll see you next time.